Today's podcast sponsorship comes from The Market by Bonhams, the online classic and collectible car auction house that really delivers. Still the best online auction experience, the lowest fees, a sale rate of over 90%, and over 400 5-star Trustpilot reviews. If you have a classic to sell, get in touch with them now. You can find them at www.themarket.co.uk and on all major social media platforms. Hi, if you've been enjoying the episode so far, or if you particularly enjoy this episode, you can head over to www.sammoors.com/shop and you can buy me a pint to say thanks. Also, if you want to help the podcast get up the iTunes rankings and sort of help me push it to more people, it'd be super helpful, those with access to Apple Podcasts, to give the podcast a rating and a review. That would be very much appreciated. Enjoy the episode. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Car Chat podcast. And with me today, I have Luke from Cars with Luke. Hello.
Hello. Hi, Sam. Hi.
Can you tell the audience a little bit about sort of short summary of who you are, what you do?
Yeah. Well, short summary is difficult, I think. I do many things. Some people might know me already, obviously, as Cars with Luke. Making videos on YouTube and sometimes posting on Instagram. Not very much at the moment. I guess you would know me more as someone who spends a lot of time in the Swiss Alps, filming in the Swiss Alps. That's what I do, really, just taking cool, exciting cars to the Alps and trying to have a bit of an adventure. I think that's my niche, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I was just having a look through, sort of a bit of a precursory before the podcast, look through your Instagram and YouTube and stuff like that. And there's always just like sick pictures in the Alps of generally like a pretty cool car. So I'm guessing you don't do videos with generic run-of-the-mill stuff. That's not an aim.
I mean, I'm very open-minded. It's just, for me, was as simple as combining what I love, which is filming, cars, and the Alps. They're three things that I guess I love the most. And when I was watching car YouTube videos before I started YouTube, I always thought, why are people not taking cars to better locations? There was a time when I was watching YouTubers and it was just guys driving around London City in super nice cars. But I thought, that's not so fun, driving a car in a city. And obviously here I'm in the perfect location. Yeah, so it was just combining those things, simple as that, really. I love doing it. At the moment, the Alps, I mean, it's in the wintertime, all the good passes are closed.
Yeah.
So I've got to be a bit patient and wait for all the big mountain passes to open again. Like the Suston Pass, Grimsel Pass being my favorites, should open around June. So they open really late. So in the winter months, I often feel a bit lost, to say the least. You know, when I don't have the mountain passes, kind of don't know what to do with myself. Obviously, we've got the snow in the winter here. Can drive up to ski resorts, go skiing, snowboarding. That's obviously super cool. But yeah, what I really love is just taking cars onto amazing roads.
Yeah. And so you're based in Switzerland, is that right?
Yeah, in Zurich, yeah.
In Zurich. Have you been there all your life, or
no, I think
what's led you to Zurich? Or you were just born there?
No. A long story has led me here, but a short version of it. So I've been here in Zurich probably 10 years now. I left the UK, so originally, of course, from the UK. I left the UK when I was 19, I think. And I originally came to Switzerland to work as a snowboard teacher.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. So that
I was a ski instructor for a bit.
Yeah, I thought you were. I don't know where I saw that, but
possibly in a podcast with Tim.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah. So that was like my first step into Switzerland, and I already loved the Alps before I came here. I was obsessed with the mountains. It's such a peaceful place, but so dramatic and dangerous at the same time. So I like that combination where you need respect for the mountains, but at the same time, it can bring you so much happiness and peace in your life. Yeah, so that's how I first came to Switzerland. And then from there, I loved working as a snowboard teacher. Obviously super fun. We did more drinking, I think, than snowboarding, than too much après ski. And yeah, then what did I do from there? I went from there to, I had a job for a car company. Terrible job, super low salary, but it was my way into the car scene. Right. I knew since I was a kid, I wanted to film cars or do something with cars, film and take pictures of cars. So when I was snowboarding, I was already filming and doing pretty bad photography then.
Yeah.
But just as a hobby, I just wanted to kind of record anything and everything. But as you know, unless you're from a wealthy family or have wealthy friends, you have no contact to supercars, and nobody also wants to lend you one if you're kind of, a nobody, I guess. Yeah, I mean, so my idea for Way In, which I get asked, I think probably every week actually, about how to get hold of nice cars. For me, it was just hustling, it was just, obviously no one was going to lend me a supercar. I was a young snowboarder with no money and no idea basically. So I found this job in this car company where they were renting out supercars.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes I got to drive them, deliver them to clients. Or maybe it was just for an hour or so, and I would take full advantage of the hour. I'd think, okay, I'm going to make something. I'm going to take some pictures. I'm going to film something, and that's where it started. I think I got lucky on my first video. I think my first video on YouTube was, don't watch it. It is absolutely horrific.
I'm going to scroll back.
No, don't. I don't even know if it's still up. But it was with a Ferrari 488, and it was a rental car for the company I was working with.
Oh,
and is it there?
Let me have a look. It takes a little
bit
of time.
Actually, I'm not sure if it is up.
The first video is a Maserati MC Stradale. A 488 Mountain Pass evening, maybe.
Yeah, that was the second one I did.
But the first video on here is a Maserati around Europe.
I think it's...
maybe you took it down.
I'm not sure, actually. Let me look quickly online. So I got hold of the 488, honestly not knowing much about Ferraris then either. And I asked my boss if I could take it out for an hour in the evening after the day. He said yes. So I took it out. You should be able to see it now. I took it out for an hour in the evening, not knowing that when the 488 came out, that was actually the first one in Europe that we had.
Really?
Yeah. And I really didn't know much about Ferrari then. I wasn't up to date with what was new. So I took it out, filmed on some kind of mountain road in Austria with it. I had 1 hour with the car. Did a horrible introduction. It was my first time speaking to the camera, which is horrific, as most people would tell you. I mean, to watch that back now, it's like, oh my God, it's so bad. But, I'm not, I'm a bit embarrassed about it, but at the same time, not because it's part of it. I mean, of course, there's some naturals out there that can just were born to be in front of the camera. I definitely wasn't.
I don't think there's that many people that are naturally amazing on camera that haven't done any, someone might have done a ton of public speaking before.
Yeah.
But it's quite funny that I think every YouTuber, everyone that's posted videos on YouTube knows, and it's the same with the podcast as well. If you scroll back to episode 1 or video 1, you're just like, oh my God, what was I doing? But I think it's really nice for the people that might want to start posting videos or are worried about, oh, I'm not very good on all that stuff. Just go and look at all these people that you now watch their videos who've got millions of subscribers or whatever, and go back to the first video, because I guarantee you they're awful. And don't worry about it. Yeah,
I know. I did leave it up. It is up on the channel still. The other ones I took down just because it was so badly filmed. It was actually nothing to do with me. It was just a terrible video. But it was my first time talking to the camera. As I said, horrific. Then I just went out for a drive in the car, and I strapped the camera to the window and did this kind of like POV style, which people went crazy for then. And I uploaded it. I think I probably had like 300 subscribers or something. Uploaded it having no idea that it was such a searched car at that particular moment. I woke up in the morning and had like 20,000 views, and I was like, what's going on here? I can't, what's happening? I didn't, then I figured out, okay, it's really a popular car. And then within a couple of months, it quickly hit 1 million views.
Nice.
And kind of just started from there. So I was kind of, I guess, a bit lucky. I don't believe in luck so much, but I was a bit lucky with having that car then. It was a good kickstart to my channel.
But that was one of those things, wasn't it? You knew, you were like, okay, it's got to be on a good road. Most people are filming in crappy locations. Like, I'll fully admit that if I do a video with a car now, it's generally in a crappy location, because there's nowhere decent.
That's all you have,
anywhere nearby. And you had the right car. Had you driven anything like a 488 up to that point? Or just moving some stuff around for the people you'd were renting?
Yeah, just a Huracan, I think. And Ferrari-wise, a 360. So that was it. I literally, took the car for an hour, limited on kilometers. And back then, sometimes I think about it, it was crazy because I had, an hour, I had limited kilometers, but I would push myself to see what can I do in an hour? What's possible in an hour? And, now, obviously, it's crazy. I'm getting supercars sent to me for weeks. It's a whole nother world, and sometimes I'm blown away by it. But I think most people don't realize the amount of hustling I had to do at the beginning was just crazy. Really, really is. So that was my first video that went viral for whatever reason.
At the time, were you also, so you were sort of getting, well, I don't know, at this point you were quite good at photography, but like getting better at photography. And were you saying to people like, oh, if you let me do a video with the car, I'll like take some pictures, you can have the pictures. Were you saying that sort of thing?
Yeah, I was trying to. My photos were terrible back then. Oh God. Which is fine also. But I was doing some pictures for some people, and it was, then that was, my camera was a way into getting involved with someone else with a supercar. So like you said, I don't know, doing some pictures for them or something. And maybe if you're lucky, you get to drive the car. Otherwise, I would just plan when I was delivering cars. So, for example, we would rent out a Huracan, and I would always I would calculate the route, and then I would try and leave, an hour early, give me more time with the car. Sometimes I would try and shoot the car on the way to taking it to the client. It was all I had. There's no other way I was going to get hold of a Lamborghini or something then. So it was pretty crazy times, to be honest, and just making the best of what I had. And then, these were my first times in supercars. So I was 10 minutes in a Huracan. I was like in heaven. I was just blown away. Supercar life was crazy. I couldn't get over it. I was completely addicted to it. It's all I thought about. Was when can I drive the next? Not even supercar, but sports car. I just love driving. But it was always hard to make the videos then because I never had the time with the cars. So like the Ferrari, I just had to make best of whatever I could. I think one of my other videos then was with the hurricane. I had to take it to Davos and I had half an hour free. So I did one lap up the Fluella Pass with it and filmed that. So that was like my next video, for example. Yeah, just went on from there. For the first year, it was basically just trying videos like this.
Yeah. And having that location is so prime for photography and video.
It is. So. Yeah, I'm spoiled with the locations, definitely.
But it definitely it helps separate out your content from other people's straight away, because it's just by the very nature of the pages you are and where you've picked. It's just I look at whether it's the photos or the videos and I'm like, oh man, I want to go there.
yeah, and it is special. I think when I started all this as well, I started quite late, so I had to think how to be an individual and to be different from everyone else. I think there wasn't much room for just another car blogger.
Yeah,
my thing was taking the cars to special places, to the mountain roads, for example, and it's what I love doing. So I'm happy that it seems to work.
Yeah, no, that's ideal. And are you sort of full-time YouTube now, or not really?
It's another question I get asked a lot. It's juggling YouTube and working now as a freelance photographer and video creator. I don't even know what to call it. I don't like that word content too much, but it's what they call it, content creator.
Yeah.
Video producer. I don't know what the word is, but it's juggling the both. I would say at the moment it's split 50-50.
Okay.
So YouTube for me doesn't generate enough income like people think to live off. Most people think if you're on YouTube and you have 100,000 subscribers at least, then you're a millionaire basically.
And I'm guessing it's not necessarily the case.
No,
on views and whatever, but
my channel's doing well and everything, but just from views, it pays for itself and a bit more, and I get by. Unless I did brand deals all the time, which I don't want to do. Every week I'm having offers for promoting products on my channel, and although it's tempting when they're offering you thousands and thousands, I've kind of held back because, I don't want to promote a brand that I can't stand behind myself.
Yeah.
So, it of course is tempting, but I don't want to do that, which means I'm happy working, for now anyway, as a freelance photographer and, video creator. So, for example, last month I did a shoot for Bentley. Last week, another shoot for Bentley locally. I will do another one for them next month. It's just things like this. I'm super happy to be working with such brands like that. I worked with Audi Switzerland a lot. Often I'm creating things for my channel, then what I do at the same time, I create something for them. Okay. I think that's where I differ to, I would say, nearly everyone on YouTube, is because I'm also a photographer. It's like two birds with one stone. So a brand can give me a car. They say, okay, Luke, you do something with it for your channel, but at the same time, can you produce us 10 pictures of the car in the Alps? So I'm earning money working as a photographer, getting paid as a photographer, but at the same time, I can produce content for myself. And I think for the brands, it seems to work quite well because it's the best of both worlds. They want the car to be shown on my channel. I also want a video, but then I'm also earning money as a photographer rather than earning money as a blogger.
That has always been an angle that I've never really managed to pull it off that well. But basically go, look, lend me the car, I'll make a video for me sort of thing and shoot photos for you, and then we get something both out of it for both of us. Do you feel like, because there's always, and this is a sort of a bit of a hot topic on the internet at the moment, is getting paid for various things. Do you feel like getting paid for taking photos at the same time of making a video with a car, like, are you able to separate that out, or are you more likely to be slightly more positive? How do you sit that in your head?
Yeah, I mean, I am very honest, and let's be honest, most new cars are amazing.
Yeah, pretty much.
There was a time where people do actually, you start to see comments like, you always, you say every car is great, but first of all, I'm a petrol head. I love cars.
Yeah.
And most new cars are amazing. I mean, technology and it's just phenomenal these days. Yeah, I do. I mean, I tell the brands, I will point out anything negative. You have to. For me, there's no other way. You have to remain like that. And it was the same with Audi Switzerland. I've done a lot with them. They even gave me a free car for the whole winter.
Sick.
And I told them, I will say if there's something negative when I review the car, that I will say it. And anyone is welcome to even ask them if I've said that to them. Like, it's really the truth. And they say, yeah, of course, please do, because you have to remain yourself. It's as simple as that. There's no secrets. So I've had no problems with that at the moment. Yeah, maybe if there's a car that I really don't like, then I won't film it. It depends, if I can do work for the brand, paid work, I have to pay my bills. That's, I think, priority at the moment. And if I'm not a big fan of the car, then I just won't. I can't. Yeah, exactly. So simple as that, really. At the moment, I'm picking and choosing what I like to film because I'm not filming that many videos. I don't even really want to film a video where it's too negative, because for me, my videos at the moment are just positive fun, a feel good vibe, doing something nice, and that's how I want to keep it at the moment, of just having a nice day in a car in the Alps.
Yeah, absolutely. And in looking back at your channel, I can see why you haven't posted a really negative review of any of these cars, because you've had lots of awesome stuff.
Yeah, I know, right? But that's the other thing. I mean, because I've been picking, I think with other YouTubers, then this is, I might be wrong, I'm just thinking that a lot of them are living off YouTube only. So they're having to push out more videos, which means maybe they had to do some negative stuff, but in general, they just had to film as much as they can to make enough money each month. But with me, because I'm not relying on that to pay my rent each month, I'm just picking my favorite things and trying to do something positive. But even so, I still, most of the cars, I can still find some kind of negative.
Okay, give me an example. Pagani Zonda F, negatives, please.
Price.
Fair. Tick. Very expensive. No, what was that car like? That's one of my favorite cars of all time.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually forgot that I've driven it. It was really, really unique. Just the note of the engine, of the exhaust sound. When you bring those revs up, the way it screams is, you don't forget it, let's say. It's so unique. Yeah, that was a really, really cool day. I remember that was quite some years ago now. But yeah, from all the hard work, days like that make it worth it when you get an email and saying, Luke, do you want to come by and drive our Zonda? Yes, I'm literally there in 10 minutes. And, I took it obviously because I knew, I don't know when I would ever get another one. Driving a Zonda, it's, it's not like other brands where they hand out press cars. You borrow a Zonda for a weekend. It's basically, if you know someone that owns one, or maybe if you do a trip to the factory and have a good contact, you can take one out, supervised also. So yeah, the car was mind-blowing. I don't know. I think that one was for sale for, I don't know, 1.4 million or something then. I don't know.
Double that now.
Yeah, probably. I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know. But yeah, what a special car. I mean, yeah, it's a Zonda.
yeah. Was that a manual one?
Yeah, manual V12. I mean, it's just mind-blowing.
Ticks a lot of boxes, doesn't it? That sort
Yeah,
of
it was good. It was a
price.
good day. Yeah, it was a really, really fun day.
No, I think your idea and sort of point about only driving stuff that you really want to drive is key. Like I'm of a similar belief. Whenever I've done stuff with things that I'm not that keen on, I know I kind of regret it straight away. And I've had it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I don't know whether you found this with brands. They're like, oh, you can drive this car, kind of as a bit of you can drive this one, and then maybe in the future you can drive the one you really want. And I turned down this car.
Yeah. So you have to earn it first.
And I think it was a bit of we want you to test you out and see if you earn it. And I was
see if you give us a good
me.
review. Yeah.
And the car, I'm not going to say what it was. I'm not going to say what brand it was. But it was basically a car that I knew. I know beforehand my review is not going to be, or my thoughts of it are not going to be that positive. Not because it's a bad car, but I just know straight away. Whereas,
I'm trying to think what car it is. There's a few like that at the moment. Yeah.
I'm sure you know exactly. You're like, okay, if it's a new XYZ, blah 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 blah, tick 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 tick. Chances are I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Let's do a video with it. It'll go well. And if you're not excited about a car, you can't do an interesting video. Like it comes across so well.
Yeah, you know how many videos I filmed for my channel that have never been published?
Oh, really?
Yeah, too many. And I say too many because my videos I put too much time into. And that's for sure my biggest challenge on my channel is because I'm filming or trying to film high quality cinematic, which I started off with. Again, that was my idea of how to differ from other people. Yeah. Also, I just appreciate high quality videos. They take so much time and so much time to edit that, I've wasted so much time. I mean, maybe wasted isn't the word. It was a whole learning process.
Yeah.
But I filmed a lot of videos where I thought, I really want to film that car. Filmed it, and then I watched it back and you can see I'm not excited. And even at the end of the video, I'm just like, I don't know what to say really. Just, it's not worth 100K and I wouldn't buy one. And then, So I've learned from that. I've got so many offers from cars every week. And now I'm obviously super happy to be in a situation where I can pick and choose. But I'm happy to hear that you think it's also a good idea about, just choosing cars that you actually like. Not saying that you can't find a negative still in them, but I'm also not a car journalist. I never wanted to be a car journalist. I'm just a guy that likes driving cool cars, loves filming, loves telling a story, and sharing passion for everything that I love, and having fun. So maybe I'll talk about the power and the weight. And the torque maybe.
Yeah.
But otherwise it's just about having fun with the car on a mountain pass. If you want to know details about a car, you can go and see Chris Harris or whoever.
Yeah.
Or Carfection, who are brilliant. They're who you would go to for details. But my channel is not about reviewing cars really.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that sort of perception. I don't know whether you have comments like this. I've had a couple of comments being like, you're a really rubbish journalist. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not a journalist. I've never said I am. I'm just a guy that likes cars.
I think at the beginning I might have had a few like that, but now I think people know my channel now. Although some people that come across and watch my videos for the first time, some people don't get it, and that's fine. That's really, it's not for everyone. And there's the other side where people really, really appreciate it. I know I'm different to other people. I know what I do is different, and it's just about a positive experience and having fun. And I don't want to sit there in a supercar that I've been given for a week and try and pick out a negative. I just want to enjoy it and have a good time. Simple as that.
I was chatting to my racing coach the other day, and he drives all sorts of stuff. He gets to do. He's one of those people that if you went to like a Ferrari launch, he would be the coach that's like making you go faster. And he was obviously really good professional racing driver. And he was looking at some of these reviews that might have come out, for example, let's say 765 LT, where a bunch of people went to Silverstone. And he was like, half these people can't drive like at all, like really can't drive. And I thought it was we had a sort of interesting discussion about it. Because that used to be my attitude of like, there's just people that just can't drive for shit. And why are they even in a car? And I've come fully about and gone, well, if you look at most customers are average Joe or Jill or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they're not professional racing drivers. They've possibly never driven a supercar before they buy their first supercar. And their experience, if you send someone out who's not very good and you send them on a track, that person's experience and how they feel will be very similar to the person that's actually going to buy the car. So it's a really valid opinion of someone that's, they can't drift it everywhere. But the person that buys the car is probably not drifting a car. They're not going to be able to tell whether you're getting like mid-corner understeer or whatever, all that sort of stuff at the limit. Yeah. So there's definitely place, and I'm not saying you're one or the other or whatever, but there's place for this full spectrum. And the viewing audience, and I think this is possibly something that annoys people that are incredibly, I don't know whether it does annoy them, but if you're incredibly sort of professional journalist reviewer and you very like do all the points and whatever, you look at these other things and sort of go, oh, are they doing the same thing? And it's not. There's all these different types of content that are different and they're consumed by people for different reasons, whether it's just, I want to see Luke driving a pista up an Alpine pass. Like, great. Absolutely.
You're at the right place.
How has your photography sort of evolved over the years? Do you think do you have like a look now?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel strong about that. I have my own style, my own look. I get told, I think, again, on a weekly basis, people say to me, if they see a picture of mine, even if there's not a car in there, they know it's from me. And that's a really cool feeling. That's cool. I mean, with photography, as you know, you're always learning. I'm still, I can look at other people's photos and then I think, God, mine is still terrible. I'm also very hard on myself though. But I definitely have my own style, colors, I guess, and just the way I take the picture. Yeah, it's just an always ongoing learning process. I think light was one of my biggest learning processes, where it's the importance of the right light. And since I went more professional with everything, I'm now always getting up for sunrise and driving places to sunset. Light is key, I think, to get the perfect shot. But yeah, I love taking pictures, and I think if you do something that you really love, that it sounds cheesy, but it comes from your heart, then you will automatically eventually be successful with it.
The one thing I've learned over all the years, if you want to start with one thing, is take the photos at the right damn time of day. Like you can edit stuff to make it look kind of cool, but if you get the right place, location in the right light, right location, wrong light,
no,
not quite as good. Right light, like it's just a whole nother level.
Changes everything. Yeah, completely. For example, I mean, it's fine. Most brands, people don't know about this. So I did a shoot 3 days ago for Bentley in Zug. It was about an hour from here at a super nice hotel on the lake. Got there at, I think, 3 PM, and they're like, right, yeah, you can start taking pictures. I'm like, no, it's near enough midday sun. I mean, I can't take any pictures. But most people don't realize that when I told them, no, I've got to wait till sunsets at 7:30, so I'll start taking pictures earliest around 6:30.
Yeah.
You can't do anything before. It's just a waste. I mean, I know that now. It's a waste of time. And yeah, simple as that.
I think I learnt it the most. And when it does get to that golden hour, like I almost like start like fizzing internally.
I
like,
freak out. Totally.
Yes.
It's almost like I want 2 cameras, like, you know, just multiple, because it's so beautiful and the light's so perfect. I just go crazy. I take, in that 10 minutes, take like 300 pictures.
Yeah. And and you know that like you've got half an hour or whatever it is of like the perfect, and you can see it getting better and better and better and better. And you're like, now. Run around just like banger.
Yeah, that was exactly me 2 nights ago.
And I now, I say the same thing. If someone says, oh, and I've got someone that has got a really sick car. He's got what's he got? He's got a Zagato Carrera GT. It's green. And I was like, okay, let's do something with that. But logistically, we haven't been able to pull it together at a time that I want to shoot. I'm like, look, we're going to have to do it at like 6 a.m. or something or whatever, that sort of time. And it's like, can we not just do it at midday? I'm like, no. And I've got to the point now where I'll just be like, I know we're going to do it at some point. I would still like to see the car. We might do a video or something as well. But I'm not shooting it if it's not at the right time. But the first time I think I really noticed this was when I was on road trips. So I did Gumball a bunch of times a while ago as a photographer. And I was hanging out with some really sick photographers, like just really awesome. And I still think awesome. Do you know Oscar back?
Yeah, we spoke a few times.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
And we would be there, same, like literally you're in the same location.
Yeah.
And his photos were just like 10 times better. And I was like, what's going on? And then over time, you pick up more tricks, learn some more things. But I realized, because you're those sorts of situations, you're sort of shooting throughout the day, like from the minute you get up to the minute you go to bed. And I would get out of a day and I might have shot 1,000 photos or whatever it is. And you'd look back and go, and I would post some of these photos from like basically the middle of the day, and they just don't look that good. And you start to realize, you're like, hang on a minute. There's actually no point other than documenting, which is, I would say, is almost slightly different. Like you just need a photo of this thing because it was cool and you need a photo of it rather than you're creating some sort of art. And it just went like from now on, and it would basically from then on, in that morning bit and in the evening bit, I would shoot photos, and the rest of the time, take the odd one. Don't stress yourself. There's no point.
Yeah, just like you learn not to waste your time.
Yeah, and it is absolutely wasted time. Like take the odd photo, but just don't go crazy.
Yeah, if it comes down to the client, right? If the client says, "Okay, we need pictures from that lunch stop or whatever," like of course you do it. It's fine. It is what it is. But otherwise you just wait for the right time.
And then sometimes the weather doesn't play ball, and you have to work out what can you do. If you've got a sick location and sick light, easy. Photos are pretty easy at that point in time. You can take them with your phone almost.
Like it's so perfect. Yeah.
But then when it starts getting tricky.
Yeah. I'm kind of jealous when I follow a few people out in California, and I feel like it's so easy to take a good picture there. You can just go any evening at the most beautiful sunset and these colors that just pop. And I think, sure, everything can get repetitive and boring. I think maybe if you're there for some years, you would then
definitely
look at me and go, I would love some mountain weather, some clouds and rain. But I'm definitely jealous of people that get to shoot out there. I think there's people that move there just for the reason of taking pictures. It's when I was there with Audi for the new RS6 in Malibu, I mean, you can just take pictures every evening and they look spectacular. Just the light and everything. So I do often think about going out to LA or so just for a month, just to do something different. Well, I wanted to this winter, but obviously that changed.
Shit happened.
It's just a little bit.
No, it was, that is absolutely one of those things. I remember sitting in London with like distinctly average weather, watching some of Hugh Nelson's vlogs, and just the south
depressed.
of France, like light, just the light in the south of France.
It's like, oh,
and you're looking at these pictures and pictures or video, and it's the whole thing, and you're like, okay, but like, is there a preset? Obviously I make my own or whatever, but like, is there some color grading I can do to make my photos look like that? And you play for like hours and you're like, oh no. And then I've been in that area and you take some pictures in the morning and you're like, no, it's everything just looks different. The light is different there than it is in the UK.
I mean, same goes for filming, of course. When I start a video in Monaco or whatever, it's just straight away feel good vibe, vibrant and happy. Whereas in Switzerland, most of the time it's grey and cloudy until I get to the mountain pass, of course. I like bad weather isn't bad. I like on the mountain passes when it's dramatic. It's pretty thunderstorms and rainy and cloudy. This is also super exciting. But in the south of France, as you said, for example, you can go nearly every evening up to what's it called, Tête de Chien or something, the viewpoint at the top where everyone goes to take pictures.
Stand on their Zonda.
Exactly. And it's just golden, It's just magical. It really is.
Yeah, if you're a lifestyle photographer and you like the sunny look, you need to live somewhere that's like LA or that's got that light naturally, because otherwise, if that's the look you're after, you only get it by going to those places. You can't really fake it.
You can't. I've tried also. By the time you've photoshopped in a fake sun and sun flare and everything, you think you just take a step back at the photo and think, "Well, God, what is this chaos?" It's just horrible. So I think maybe I did a lot of nighttime pictures. For instance, my fuel station pictures, which people seem to really like. And I think I started shooting at night because in the daytime in Switzerland, the light is terrible in Switzerland. We have really strong, harsh white light here. You maybe get 5 minutes in the evening to shoot some nice pictures. So I started taking pictures at nighttime. It was just for me a way to do more pictures. Rather than fighting the daylight always.
Yeah. And I can't remember. I think it was looking through your feed and a couple of other people's feeds, and I was like, I used to take pictures during the nighttime, or like when I was very, very early on in my photography, and I do like these sort of long exposure shots with like a bus going past and stuff like that in London, and everyone was like, "Whoa, this is crazy!" And I look back at it and go like, "Okay, well, I definitely wouldn't do that now." But like at the time, I really enjoyed it. But I enjoyed that element of like night. You can start to create something different, whether you're adding lights or all that sort of thing, and it adds this different element.
It's a whole different mood. It's just, for me, was always creating a mood. So one of my favorite films is Blade Runner, and I loved that whole Blade Runner vibe, this kind of neon lights in the dark, and that's where I started taking these shots of cars at nighttime at the fuel stations. It's still probably one of my favorite pictures to take. I haven't done any recently. You've got to have the right car for it, of course. But, I like the peace as well. So I go to the fuel station. Most people don't realize that I normally go in the middle of the night, like 2 a.m. And, it's nice. You're alone. It's quiet. Some time to create something when nothing else is going on. But it needs quite some work and commitment to get up in the middle of the night to go take a picture of the fuel station. And
the amount of times that you're like, okay, I need to be there at 5, especially if you're meeting someone else. If you're meeting someone else, you have to be there before them and blah, 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 blah. And you're like, wait, that means I've got to get up at 3:30 and I'm going to be shooting. And you shoot till, I don't know, I shoot till like 9 or something. And then you're like, I've already done like 8 hours.
Yeah, no, it's savage, yeah.
But it's worth it. Like those days, for me, you just got to do it. And the results speak for themselves. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that's also why I don't post much on Instagram. I don't even know when I last posted, a couple of weeks ago. Only because I haven't got a picture that I'm happy with for me at the moment. I'm only been so busy doing pictures for clients and brands the last weeks, which is amazing, of course. But I have not taken any for me that I'm happy with. I've got thousands of pictures, but yeah, I don't like posting anything unless I'm really happy with it.
Yeah. Do you think that's worked out well? Because I remember thinking a while ago, like this concept, sort of the way you do it, of just post pictures you're really happy with, and don't worry about how often you post. Do you think that's worked out quite well, or is there?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. So, for sure, like you could say, I would probably grow faster on Instagram. I think, I don't know, it's now at, 94,000 or something, which is fine. It's nice. And that's, that was just all natural over the last few years. Yeah, I could, if I posted more and you say, okay, I want to work with the algorithm, I want to get bigger on Instagram, I want to get more followers. But in the first place, that was never my goal anyway. It was purely, I'm just going to post pictures I like.
Yeah.
It was never a goal of, I want to be known or I want to be someone. It was just, I just want to do what I love doing. And the following just kind of naturally came with that. So, yeah, some people do tell me, from a business side, I should post more. I mean, stories, I love stories. They're great. You can always do Instagram stories, behind the scenes stuff. Yeah. Anyway, also with the whole lockdown thing and everything, I've just not been in a situation where I could normally take the pictures that I like taking. For instance, by now, I would have already done a couple of trips to Italy where you have beautiful light, and I would have done pictures for myself, but they were all cancelled.
Yeah.
So, and now it's that change in season. So there's no snow, but there's no leaves on the trees yet. So everything just looks a bit dead. And I'm super unmotivated to take pictures for me at the moment. But I think come summer, then I'm pretty full on.
It's a tactic. It's working out the balance. Because I think my feed at the moment is like 3s. It's whatever car it is, there'll be 3 pictures in a row.
But I like that.
Which sort of works, but it's trying to. For me, it's like trying to blend in all of the things. Like, it's like, okay, I've got a podcast coming out. Can I do something that's relevant to the podcast? And someone said to me the other day, it was like, you should do like just a podcast post. Like, the podcast has come out, maybe a picture of you in the person. I'm like, yeah, but I have to look at that in my feed. And I hate that picture. Like, I even hate the fact if I've done a carousel, it's got these little squares in the corner of my photo. Like, just like...
Yeah, but that's why we do what we do, because that's how our brains work, where we're super obsessive with details and lines. But that's in the end what makes us good, I think, at what we do.
Yeah, you have to be the person that someone looks at you and goes like, you're a bit over the top, aren't you?
Yeah, and I'm like,
but it has to be right.
Yeah, I really am. Yeah.
How do you think has your sort of gear changed over the years? And do you have a sort of preference? Do you shoot like primes or zooms?
I like primes. I shoot mostly with the 50mm Zeiss 1.4.
Are you on a Sony? Are you on
Sony pictures, Sony A7R 3? Yeah, I think. And filming with the Sony A7S3.
Oh, okay.
The new one, yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, I'm king of low light. For filming, I mean, it's incredible. It's really just beautiful images.
Does it really annoy you? I don't think the S has the normal Sony style screen. Does it annoy you that you can't see your face when you're filming?
No, the new S3 has a flip.
Oh, does it have it?
App screen, yeah.
Oh, winner. I really want a camera that flips around.
Yeah. No, it's that's a big highlight that so many people wanted from that camera. So, I mean, that camera is a pure filming camera.
Yeah.
Forget taking pictures with it. It's like, I don't know, super low megapixel, but obviously because it's a filming camera, with filming you want less megapixels, which makes it really good in low light. So that's why I have obviously the two cameras. Yeah, no, I mean, it's really expensive. Is this it actually here? Yeah. So you see, there's the flip around screen.
Oh yeah, winner. For those that are listening, it just has the conventional, like you see on every vlogging camera ever, flip out screen, which is just not been on Sony's forever.
But because I've been filming for so long, I was always filming my videos before on the A7R.
Yeah.
I was totally used to not having a flip round screen. So now when I had a flip round screen, it actually distracted me for the first month, because I want to look in the lens. I want to look at the people. I don't want to look at the screen like Casey Neistat, but that's why he wears sunglasses, that you don't see that. So I'm very used to just looking directly down the lens. The flip out screen I like just for when I set the camera up in the car, that I can directly look, not have to get out the car, run around, look through the camera to see if the angles are right. So for things like that, it's really handy. Yeah,
for sure. That's I would say my number one problem at the moment is when you're in the car and you want to turn the camera on and start recording. And essentially, I don't think they even have like a filming light. I was looking for this recently.
Yeah, so you get paranoid, is it on? Yeah.
You're basically just praying. You're like, I hope I've pressed the right button. It should record, but I have no way of telling whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly that.
No, it's funny. And then you do use a camera with a flip out, and you realize that you do that eye thing where you look at yourself or above.
Yeah, I don't do it at all now. I'm so used to looking down. But yeah, if you're not used to it. Yeah, it looks bad if you see someone on video, and you can see obviously directly when they're looking at themselves rather than down the lens, and it's not good.
Yeah. It's a weird one. So you had a GT4 for a bit.
For I think around 8 months.
Was that your first sports car?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Well. No, before that I had a 981 Cayman GTS.
Oh, yeah.
Which I guess you class as a sports car.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was my first sports car. Yeah.
And are you now madly in love with the Porsche brand?
Yeah, no, I am. That was all by accident. You know, actually it was just... I just started filming GT3s, and a GT3 and a mountain pass is simply a match made in heaven. It's just perfection. Even better if it's a manual GT3. You know, you just, days for me don't get much better than that. It's, you know, forget hypercars or whatever. I mean, I'd take, for a fun factor, I would take a manual GT3, you know, over a hypercar and a mountain pass. Because anyway, with a hypercar, you're way too fast. Yeah. You know, in Switzerland, you just end up in prison. So,
yeah, with massive bills.
Yeah. So my dream car is a 911.2 GT3 manual, touring, or a GT3 RS.
Would you go touring or wing, no wing?
I like both. I'm open to either. So I think you know, if the right spec came up, for instance, there was a sapphire blue GT3 touring for sale with ceramics and yellow stitching inside, and obviously the ceramics being in yellow. I mean, it was just the perfect spec. I think it was for sale for like 180k. Yeah. So, you know, way too much. For me, anyway. Yeah. But if the time comes when I could go for it, then yeah, I would choose one based on the spec. I think I would just be happy with either. Yeah. And it's so difficult to find. It's something I didn't realize until
probably the last couple of years of like actually, especially with modern Porsches, it's quite difficult if you're in England, for example, to order one with PTS. So you don't actually get that many interesting specs out there at all.
No, you really don't. Same in Switzerland. It's super rare. Most are in business grey or, black. I like black, but then you need to have the right wheels and the right interior. Like it's got to be all together.
It's got to be all the stuff, yeah.
You can definitely go for a full black GT3 with black wheels and then Alcantara and red stitching. That's cool. It looks amazing. But I've only seen one for sale in the last half a year like that. So yeah, it's really hard. I said on a end of a video recently. So I recently bought an RS6.
Oh,
and
nice.
Yeah, super happy with it. It feels ridiculous to say, but it's my daily driver.
Do you get hooked up by Audi?
Yeah, and with Audi Switzerland, yeah, they've just supported me. So when I started out on social media, I think my two main brands at the moment on my channel are Porsche and Audi. I love both brands, especially Audi in Switzerland in the winter. It just works.
Yeah,
it's just a car that you can do so much cool stuff with in the snow. So yeah, an RS6 was always one I wanted to tick off the box with owning at one point.
Yeah.
It's just a legendary car. Yeah, and they just gave me a really good offer on one that I couldn't say no to, and I said, yeah, why not? Let's go for it. It's just for some time in the end. For me, it's an experience. It will be a memory that I can look back on and just some fun.
Yeah.
It's by no means a replacement for my GT3 dream. I think most people don't realize, first of all, how hard it is to find the right GT3. And I've learned from some mistakes where with my last Porsches, both was happy with them, but there wasn't my dream spec. Yeah. So because the GT3 is such a dream for me since so long, I nearly bought one. And it was, I knew it'd been on track. It even had an engine change because it blew up. I knew it'd been driven hard, but it was basically all I had on offer. I nearly went for it. I'm happy I didn't because I want it to be special. I think it's a car that I would like to try and keep for quite some time. So rather than rushing into it, I said, okay, I'm going to go with the RS6 for now, have some fun with it. Yeah, I don't know, sell it at some point. No idea when, no rush at the moment. I've had it only a couple of weeks, but I haven't even had any time to drive it yet. I've been so busy doing work for other people. Do a couple of modifications with it. And then when the time's right, get the GT3 when the right one comes up. And for me, there's no rush. I really don't want to rush into it. I want to find just the perfect one. Ideally, sapphire blue would be, for me, the perfect one.
Because I have a GT3 RS 997.
I watched a video a couple of
there's aqua blue, and that just worked out. I was looking for cars, and I sort of wanted one in that color, and then it came up, and I bought it in the end. But I didn't realize at the time, because my journey for finding that car was relatively short, like a couple of months or something, how rare that spec is. And for me, like aqua blue with ceramics, so yellow brake calipers with like yellow seat belts, and it's got some carbon and stuff inside or whatever, was like absolutely my perfect spec for a GT3 or GT3 RS. And I always thought, if I were to buy another GT3 or something down the line, like I would love a 991.2, probably touring. But then you're just, like you said, you're just adding amounts to the price.
Yeah.
But I want it like you. I think this is something about being a photographer as well, and like colors, loving colors. Like I want it in the exact spec that I want, but I think I'm sort of accepting now that is impossible. And if I'm gonna pull the trigger on something like that, I will have to buy one that's as close as possible, maybe has the interior and ceramics or something, or depending on whatever I want to do with it, and then repaint it. And I'm just accepting that if it's a car I'm going to own forever, I'll own it for a year or something, drive it as is, make sure I really like it, and then have to do a respray and just be like, this is part of the price.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. My other thought was also maybe waiting to a point I could afford the new GT3 and order a brand new one in my dream spec. But I don't know. Like I said, I think with you as well, learn not to rush into it. And the funny thing is, of course, the new R6 I have on paper is the same price as a nice manual GT3 911.2. So maybe people think, well, if it's the same price, why didn't you buy one of them? But the thing is, with Audi, I get deals. Yeah. Like many YouTubers or whatever do, you get special rates. And the thing with Porsche is, although my channel is been so much around Porsche, they don't offer me anything, which I'm not bitter about at all.
I'm the same. I'm like, come on, of all the brands, Porsche. Like,
I'm like,
come see me.
Just not angry at all about it.
It's what it is, isn't it? They know they make good cars.
But that's the annoying thing. They're just like, well, if you want it, buy it. Yeah. I'm like, well, I can't afford it, but maybe you can help me out. So they're so in demand, Porsches. In Zurich, it's Porsche City here. It's crazy. Every second person is driving a 911. Let's say before the R6, I looked for 4 months for a GT3, and it just became so stressful. It became to the point where I almost thought, I don't know if I want one anymore, because everyone I went to see, let's say in Zurich, there is a huge scene here of flipping Porsches. So people in Zurich are just getting filthy rich off buying Porsches and selling them. And that's the only people I'm meeting. So everything was a bit black. Everything was a bit dodgy. 90% of the time, I would go and see a GT3. And then I know a lot of people in the Porsche scene here, so that I would send them pictures. I'd say, do you know anything about this? They would nearly always say, oh yeah, that's been on track for 90% of its life. So it's got like 10,000 kilometers on, and most of that was on track, but they're not telling you. So the scene here in Switzerland with Porsches is really, I don't know what the word is, dare I say, a bit corrupt. It's really hard to find a genuine one where someone isn't lying about the car being on track, which most of them have. Most people buying GT3s here are buying them and then just doing track days with them outside of Switzerland, not in Switzerland, of course, because we don't have any tracks here. Or like the one I went to see, I even had the engine changed on it. So, it's really tough to find the perfect one, so I didn't obviously give up. It's still my dream, but I decided not to rush into one that I'm only 70% sure about. Just wait for the right time.
It is tricky, isn't it? I think as time goes on, when you're like, I would like to buy X car, there's this pressure. For me, there's definitely this pressure just sort of like builds up and builds up and builds up. And then it's just like, buy a car, just buy a car.
Just do something. I'm like, all right, I get the R6, fine, never do. But the R6, I'm super happy with it. I mean, it's an R6.
It's a cool thing. I've not driven the new one.
Okay.
But I've loved RS6s forever. And it's always been, I think, like it's always been one of those cars that's like, I kind of would like to own an RS6.
Yeah, you just want one. Even if you don't know why, you don't need the space. You're like, I just want one in my garage.
Yeah.
And I think the new one especially, I mean, the looks visually, I love more than enough power, too much power, actually. But I love the car. I can use it for everything. It's good looking, so I can do pictures with it for my social media. I can do videos with it. I can drive it in the snow. I can also do a mountain pass video with this car. It's still, you can drive it like a sports car. So I can do a lot with it. It's just, for me, it just will be an experience. And yeah, another one kind of ticked off the box. Part of the problem with buying a car on YouTube now is the whole thing is kind of been ruined a bit by certain YouTubers that bought and sold cars on a weekly basis, which is a shame. It's not so special anymore. It's funny, when I sold my GT4, it had always 95% positive comments, if not more, but there's always a few negative. And then people start saying like, another YouTuber just buying, selling cars, flipping cars. And I'm like, that's my second car in like 5 years. Yeah. And because I sold my car, it's like it's straight away put into that box of the other YouTubers, certain ones from the UK.
It's not really though, is it?
No, and it's super unfair, but that's the unfair part of the internet that I've seen over the last year, where if certain YouTubers do that, if you were to buy and sell one car, you're straight away put in the box with them that have owned 10 cars in 1 year. And I'm like, this is the only car I've owned this year. And even when I explain it, even when I'm trying to say, look, guys, I got to sell it for this reason. And the thing with the GT4 was I got it a month before COVID started. So just the worst time. I got the car and then drove it a little bit, and then COVID started and we couldn't even leave the area at the time. So I had this GT4 sitting in the garage. I'm like, great. So my plan was to do road trips with it. I had to cancel everything. I lost like 3 months of work. I was working then as freelance photographer. I was meant to be doing a lot with Audi. They said, great, we're going to use you over the next couple of months. And then all the events were cancelled. So I'm like, okay, I've got no income. The GT4, can't make videos with it. Like, this is bad. So I got that car at a very bad time. And then when things eased up towards the end of the year, I knew winter was around the corner. And I said, okay, I'm going to sell it because I'm not going to keep the GT4 sitting in the garage costing me money that I can't use. For whatever car that I have, I need to be able to use it. I need to be able to make videos with it. And I can't just pay for a car for no reason. So, I decided to sell it. And for some people, that was very dramatic.
You're always going to get those people commenting though, aren't you? And I think anyone that follows you or that sort of stuff will know that you're doing it for your reasons rather than just like, I bought this new car. Oh, I've sold it. I've wrapped it. I'm exhausted in like a month.
Yeah. Exactly. And this was over, people exaggerate. They're like, oh, he just kept it for 3 months. I'm like, first of all, it's 8 months. Second of all, I even explain that exact reason, and tell people it was hard that year. Just the misconception is if someone sees you in a cool car, they think your life's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy's, there's nothing to complain about. His life's awesome. It wasn't the case. Bills to pay and I couldn't just keep a car for no reason. And then it was the case of saying, how can you sell your dream car? So the GT4 was my first dream car. But what I've tried to explain is I've got many dream cars.
Yeah.
Not loads, but, let's say 5. The GT4 was one. GT4, I used to try and explain, was my realistic dream car.
Yeah.
So it's easy to say, my dream car is a Zonda. But I think, it doesn't make sense saying that. I like to have realistic dream cars. And the first one was a GT4. And I reached that. It was, apart from COVID, just completely ruining my time with that car, which, I will forever be slightly sad about that I didn't get to experience what I wanted to do with it, really. But buying a dream car doesn't mean you keep it for life for me at all. It's an experience, it's a memory, and you tick it off the box and you move on to the next one. Unless you're super wealthy and you can buy 10 cars, sure, great. But if I'm in a position where I can only own one car at a time, it's the only way I can do it. So, okay, we're going to move on to the next car. That's how it is for me.
Yeah, totally. And like, you're clearly enthusiastic about them. Like, so it's not.
Yeah, I love cars, and that's what I don't get. If someone complains about it, I'm like, but I'm a petrol head. I mean, I love cars. I want to buy cars. I want to also sell them. I want to then try a different one. I think that's what part of being a petrol head is. And if you're on YouTube and if your channel's going well and everything. And brands want to work with you. As you get bigger, you get more opportunities. So the opportunities get bigger, they get better. So of course you do move on if you have things laid out on a table for you and say, look, here, you can own this dream car. Like, yeah, okay, I'll sell this car and get that. I'm not going to say no to it because I'm a petrol head, because I love cars. And like I said, for me, it's just I don't know. You're only here once, aren't you? I don't need to. I like the idea, let's say, of owning a perfect spec manual GT3 forever.
Yeah.
Sure. But then again, if I never get past the point of not being able to own more than one car, it doesn't mean that I also wouldn't then eventually sell that to try something else after some years.
Yeah. It's such a weird one, that one. And like, I get loads of people, they say this all the time about some of my cars, like, oh, don't ever sell that. I'm like, can you just like stop saying that, please? Because I get where it comes from, because you're like, this is really cool. But like my GT3 RS, I love that car, but I don't drive it that much. I'm driving it a lot more now because I just made that decision. I was like, okay, well, either you should get rid of it or drive it more. And I love that car. And I could see myself having it forever, but I don't want to fall into the mindset of I'll just keep it forever, just because. Like that's a stupid thing to do.
Yeah,
cars are expensive. Even if the value's going up, they're still expensive to run. Yeah, you don't get that back till you sell it. So if you never sell it, you still spent a lot on the car. And I think it's very easy for what if you've got one car, two cars, just to be like, okay, I'm just going to keep this one forever. And then try and add another car, which is just another expense, rather than really taking a hard look at yourself and go, okay, but I could have fun experiences in other cars. And I could always, I could always buy another one later down the line.
Yeah. But you can end up getting quite some hate for that. But, the problem was it was just ruined by
the situation.
Certain people that went too extreme with buying and selling cars, buying it, doing a wrap, selling it. It was too extreme, and it took away the specialness of. But I think is that a word?
I get what you're saying with that, and I agree to some extent. But I think if you're like come across as a real person, and a purchase is really exciting to you, or driving a certain car is really exciting to you, that doesn't negate like someone's reaction to you going through that, or for you. Like if someone else could drive a Zonda, for example, and it's one of those cars I've always wanted to drive, or maybe the new Gordon Murray T50S or an F1 or something like that, and they could drive it and I can appreciate them driving it, or they might not have a good time and it might seem really boring. But if I get to drive the car and I have a great experience, I've had a great experience driving the car. And if I made a video and it comes across like I'm having a great experience, that negative one has no real impact on my video, my audience, and then also just how I feel about the situation.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, it does seem a bit cliche now. Just buying any car seems like a cliche thing to do, because it's like, oh well, you're just a YouTuber. And like, they're really expensive things, these cars.
And it's a huge amount of time. It's not just I went out and got an R6. There's contracts. You're back and forth for months discussing terms and conditions and what's allowed, what's not allowed. It's a big time-consuming thing. Yeah. And I will start to use it soon. I want to do some road trip videos with it. Something that I enjoy, as much as mountain passes on my channel, is road trips. So often the car was, it's just 50% of the video. It's sometimes less. The rest was staying in a cool hotel, showing an amazing road. meeting up with really great people, just having a fun experience. One of my favorite videos on my channel is it's called I think This is Life in the Alps, or This is the Alps, I can't remember. It was a 1 week road trip with Audi, with the new R6, where I filmed every day for the whole week, you know, from snowboarding to après-ski, everything. And since then, people come back to me and say, well, first of all, they re-watch it every week. They love it, especially because of COVID, I think, that, you know, we like to look back on those times. Oh, I remember the time when we could go to après-ski and be around other people. But I had more positive feedback from people talking about the food that I was eating in a restaurant or the location than the car. Yeah. And I love that, because for me, I love those experiences. And the car is the thing that can take me to these places.
Yeah. So it can look pretty in the photos, but ultimately it gets you to these places to hang out with friends, meet new people.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I love cars, for that reason, that they can take you to special places. I just like doing very alternative things on my channel. So let's say I want to film a video, I'm trying to find a special Italian car. I'm obsessed with Italian food, obsessed with pizza, especially in Italy. So I think, okay, I want to find a special Italian car, and I want to do a video driving whatever from Switzerland to Napoli to buy the world's best pizza. That for me is like my dream video. Yeah. That's how my mind works. And maybe some people think it's weird. I really don't care. But yeah, you have to do what you love to do. And that's my idea of literally a perfect way to spend a day, to drive 8 hours to Napoli and buy like the world's greatest pizza or something, you know?
Yeah. And I love those sorts of videos. Like something that's got a bit of a story, a bit of a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sort of thing going on, and then it might even have a car in it at some point.
Yeah, and who wouldn't want to do that in the end? Who wouldn't want to jump in a supercar and drive to the South Italy to buy like the best food you've ever eaten? I mean, it's a dream for me anyway.
Absolutely. You've driven the new RS e-tron GT.
Yeah.
I drove a Taycan rear-wheel drive, the base model, the other day. Have you driven a Taycan?
Yeah, I had one for a week.
How do you find those two cars?
Yeah, I love them both to start with. The Taycan, you sit inside, it's like, yeah, I'm in a Porsche. Great. Yeah. It's a fantastic feeling. It's a Porsche. But after some days, it's super fast. Looks nice, but only in the right spec. I've seen many around Zurich, for example, in very ugly colors and ugly wheels. So you can easily make a Taycan, I think, look very boring.
Yeah.
So in the right spec, they look incredible. And I like the sound. They make this kind of spaceship sound, whatever it is. I think it sounds pretty cool. Yeah, really enjoyed it. But by the end of the week, it definitely wasn't a car where I thought, oh, I want one of these. Oh, I don't want to give it back. It just was simply nice to drive and very expensive. I think the one they gave me, the price tag on it was like 250,000 Swiss francs. It's like, it's a lot of money for an electric car.
Yeah.
My thinking of if I own an electric car at the moment would be something small and cheap. That makes sense. Okay, I'm going to use it to go to the city. I'm going to use it to go and do some daily business within 100 kilometers. I like that idea, but not spending supercar money on an electric car. So price tag was pretty high. And with the e-tron GT, which I think will be a bit cheaper. I really liked it. Maybe you could say it's more unique than the Taycan. It's more special in that way. The front is not so good looking. The Taycan looks great from the front and the back. The GT looks great from the back. Yeah, it's a typical Audi feeling inside, so which means nice. Everything works. Everything feels good. I couldn't say which one I would go for. I don't know. They're both great, but it's a really hard choice. Maybe leaning more towards the Porsche, but then I have other days where I would go more towards the GT. I couldn't say which one I prefer at the moment.
Yeah. An interesting bit about the e-tron GT that I noticed, the interior, and I've seen this with a bunch of cars at the moment. I feel like we've gone past peak amount of touchscreen and we've gone too far. And I would say the Taycan, there's too much touchscreen for me. Just buttons you actually want to press often are touch buttons, and they're a pain in the arse. Yeah. Whereas hasn't the e-tron, it's brought that back a little bit. There's like a few more buttons have come back into the process.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Yeah. I think if the e-tron GT is quite a bit cheaper, then I totally get why you would, more go with that car. For an electric car, let's say. It depends. If you really want that Porsche badge, if you're really a Porsche fan, then yeah, I get it, which I am. But for an electric car, I don't know if I'd be willing to spend that higher price tag just to have a Porsche for an electric car.
Yeah, and I think it's tricky when I look at those sorts of cars, and they're in the category of like your RS6, and I would always go for a car with that shape, the Avant shape, because it's just so much more practical for chucking stuff in. Yeah. But when I look at a car like that, and I have an S4 Avant, that's kind of like my daily. The majority of the time I'm with that car, around town, whatever, but then it's longer trips. It's loading up the car and going away for the weekend or driving long distances. And those electric cars that are not Teslas at the moment, whether it's the Audi or the Porsche or whatever, the range just isn't enough to do that job.
It's not. Yeah, I struggled with the GT. I can't comment because it was a planned event, so we had our fixed things to do. But with the Taycan, I got to use it for a week in daily life. And I had a few times here where I struggled to find a good charger, a fast charger. And it did become a bit of a headache towards the end of the week where I'm like, I just want to drive somewhere and I can't.
Yeah.
But that's where Tesla is winning, of course, just for the infrastructure, which everyone talks about. It's all good having the best performance electric car, but without the infrastructure, it kind of devalues it quite a lot. And with Tesla here, you have superchargers everywhere. It's quick, it's simple, and it really does work. It's just a shame. I think the Tesla cars are pretty ugly.
Yeah, they don't tick any of the sort of photographer in me lover of car elements.
No,
which
not
is a
at
shame.
all. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna. What's he working on now? What's the new one? The 1000 PS.
Oh yeah, Model
called?
S something.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, this
Ludicrous,
looks
blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
Plus,
this looks really
played.
cool. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So this looks great. But I had the Model X. I had the Model S. Super nice to drive, and I loved the charging, and I loved in Tesla the big screen. So when you're charging, I put on Netflix.
Yeah.
Chill in the car, watch Netflix, and it's actually really fun. You're entertained while you're charging, which I don't quite understand why other people haven't done yet, because charging is a thing where you need entertainment. If it's a rainy day, you're just sitting in the car for half an hour otherwise with nothing to do.
Yeah, no, it's the charging network situation is definitely a problem. I've heard loads of stories of nav systems, and I'm not sure which manufacturers, but not Tesla. And you could say, I want to drive 600 miles or something. You'd plug in a location 600 miles away, and it would say, okay, you need to charge twice or whatever. And it would take you, to somewhere that was like a 3-pin plug. And you plug in and be like, you need to wait 15 hours. You're like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But
totally.
It'll get there, I think. And like you, I see it in my life. I did drive the Taycan. I was like, oh, this is, I like where this is going.
Yeah, totally. I agree. Like when I got in, I was like, okay, this is getting exciting finally. Especially when I saw one completely blacked out with the yellow ceramics, black wheels at nighttime, cruising through Zurich City with the spaceship sound. I was like, okay, this is real life Blade Runner. Like it looked so cool. So that really excited me, definitely.
Yeah, and the small things of electric cars, like I think for me it's got to be a small city car. That's what will be the next. If I get an electric car, it'll be something cheap-ish and small. But I love the idea, and I imagine would be brilliant in somewhere where you get snow all the time. Is you can tell the damn thing to turn itself on and warm itself up before you've got in it. Like, you don't have to stink out your garage with exhaust fumes or whatever, and just get into a warm car with a clear windscreen, ready to go.
It's comfortable. Yeah, I think in the video with the Tesla, I explained it like when I get in, it's like jumping into your lounge. Each time you feel very comfortable. You kind of have everything you want. It's easy. It works. It's just a very nice, comfortable place to be, and not exciting, like a sports car, but as a daily driver, sure. Although for me, it's still like too expensive. Like I said, I'd rather something just really small, even if it has 150 kilometer range. Yeah. That's my idea of an electric car at the moment.
Yeah, like I've always looked at whenever I'm in Monaco, I always see Twizzys.
Yeah.
And they're just like, you look at them and they work in the south of France because it's warm all the time.
Yeah.
But you're like, that's perfect. The range is 30 miles or something.
Yeah.
And they just zip around and you're like, oh, yeah that works.
Yeah,
Absolutely
totally.
Works.
Pop down to Monaco to the bakery.
Yeah.
To get your croissant and then
cruise around. Exactly. Yeah. You've driven some pretty interesting cars, actually. 599 GTO.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Wow. Yeah. That was a special one. Yeah, the sound. So the one that I drove was owned by Fernando Alonso.
Cool.
It's a one of one. And so it's had some special tweaks to it that none other had. So it's also a bit louder than every other stock anyway, GTO. That car blew me away. It's I think the sound is one of the most addictive sounds I've ever heard. And I drove it a few times. I also drove it in Italy, past the police at quite some speed. And all they did was give me the thumbs up. It was brilliant.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's a legendary car. You can see from my smile, it just makes me smile thinking about driving that car. Yeah.
No, it's one of those ones I look back and go like, yeah, it's pretty cool thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you want one now, they're over 500,000, I guess.
Yeah, I think they had like a crazy peak maybe 4 years ago where they were nearly like 1 million in the UK. That would have been a great time to just go, thank you very much. And then they've come back down. I don't know what they are now, 500, 450, something, those sorts of amounts of money.
Yeah.
But yeah, very cool things. Carl, I've not driven any 992s, but you've driven a few. Have you driven like a bunch? 4S, turbo? What was your favorite of the ones you've driven?
I guess the turbo. The launch control is frankly terrifying. There's on part of the video, towards the end, I try a launch control on a mountain pass, which looking back maybe wasn't the best, but I have full faith in the traction control keeping me on the road. And I was not prepared for what it did to me. It's absolutely savage. It's like nothing I've ever felt. That launch control is just crazy. And I think, if you watch the video, my expression says it all. It's really, really a crazy car. Had the roof down as well, so I really got the full feeling of the turbo sounds and the wind, and I say it was terrifying but amazing. It's the best combination, which is what you want in a car. Actually, in a sports car, you want it to scare you a bit. That's part of the fun. Yeah, something that's a friend of mine has a 765 LT, and he took it out. I think he got it in the last 6 months or whatever. So it's been generally quite cold here. And he took it out this week, and he was saying for the first time it was dry. And he was like, you can't put your foot down all the way, even in the dry. Not from like a speed point of view, just a grip. He's like, you just don't have the enough grip to give it full beans. And you're like, that's kind of what you want that's kind of what I want in a supercar. Yeah. it's such a good car, so it's crazy, but at the same time, it's not a widowmaker.
Yeah.
Because it's, with the electronics they have now, it's quite a different world. So it scares you in the sense of like it's mind-blowing fast, but not in the sense of that I ever felt that I was not in control, like the 997 GT2 that I drove, which tried to kill me literally in the first 10 minutes. And then I was like, okay, so now I understand where the name the Widowmaker comes from.
Because that was like quite a tuned one.
Yeah, I think 700.
Yeah, because stock they were like 615, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 700 manual gearbox, of course. And then I realized, having that power with the manual gearbox doesn't really work. On that car anyway, it's so aggressive when the turbo kicks in. I mean, you're fighting the wheel. But at the same time, you're trying to change gear, but that's when you want both hands on the wheel. So it's an experience, let's say. And even with the traction control on, the back end was just kicking out.
Yeah.
But it bites. It's not in other cars, you feel it coming. I'm like mid-corner, this is nice. And then a second later, it's like this, like completely unplanned. And my heart stopped and I thought, okay, I'm going to die. And that was within the first 10 minutes and driving pretty normal. That I'm quite a careful driver. So, and it caught me out straight away. It makes me smile also because it was, obviously was such a laugh.
Quite an experience.
Happened. Yeah, totally. I mean, I want to drive it again. It's just so mad. It's just absolutely mad.
I've driven a 997 GT2, a normal one in, I can't remember where I was. I was in somewhere in the UAE, so like slightly dusty roads. Mm-hmm. And that, like, even at that power, when the boost sort of came in, I didn't feel like it was crazy fast because I think we're all adapted to fast stuff now, but there definitely was a bit of like a lack of traction when the boost came in. Not super scary, but I can imagine if you add another 150 horsepower, probably another chunk of torque starts to get interesting. But
yeah, definitely. I mean, okay, when I went out, I think it was 6 degrees.
yeah, cold tires.
Like cup tires on, and it wasn't the best. It was like just before winter kicked in, and I really wanted to film it. So it was like I knew that was the last day before it snowed, so I went for it, and I really had to take care, to say the least. Yeah,
because it's that first 20 minutes on cold tires. Because like cold tires, they've just got nothing. Absolutely no grip whatsoever.
No. I mean, in the RS6, you can just go flat pretty quick. It's a beast. For that sense, I love it. But in a sports car, especially a Porsche with all the weight on the back as well, no, not recommended.
Yeah, I had another vivid reminder in the same sort of thing. I was at Silverstone earlier this week doing a test day in my Radical, and we put a new set of tyres on it halfway through the day, and they still had the stickers on. So you can see the sort of stickers going around like this. But at that point in time, when they're cold with stickers on, it's literally like ice. A normal road is like ice, and you just turn into the corner. You're like, oh.
I mean, I'm definitely no racing driver at all. But I really appreciate now how important tires and tire temperature is.
Yeah, I always get that same, whether it's the F40 or the GT3. The first like 20 minutes, just give it a bit too much, and you're like,
see you later. Yeah.
Bit of boost coming in.
Yeah.
But yeah. Cool. Well, I normally wrap these up with 5 questions.
Okay, please.
Are you ready? Do you have a most memorable driving trip or journey?
Yeah, probably the Best of the Alps video. So where I did the week exploring different parts of the Alps in Austria, France, Switzerland. It was just fun. And especially now with everything that's gone on, I'm looking back at that time and just appreciating it so much.
Yeah.
It was a group of 10 creatives. Everything's planned, so I don't have to think about anything. I can just do what I love to do with other people that share the same passion of taking the best picture and getting the best shots and having the most fun. on a road trip. So I think, that's one that really stays with me. I think, it was one of my most popular videos. I think it has like 900,000 views. It's more like a movie. That was something I always wanted to do on my channel, was actually to create small movies. I'm obsessed with film, and I would like to do more short movies, but they're really hard to do alone.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to find someone that has the time to come and help me. So that was a bit like a short movie from the week. Storytelling, I think, which people love. So that one really stays with me. And what I like about that is, it's a video that people go back to. So I have people messaging me all the time saying that they watch it on a regular basis 8 months later.
Yeah.
Or when they need, to feel good again, they miss the normal times, they go and watch that. And that makes me super happy. Of course, if people are watching it and smiling, then I'm smiling too.
Yeah, that's super cool. And it's really cool to get messages to say that people go back and watch it again. You're like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was always my plan on my channel, to try and create some videos, not these one-off hits where it's a couple of days, gets the views, and then it dies.
Yeah.
I really, although some of my videos, are more basic like that, which is fine, but I would like to every month or every 2 months create more of a special video that it's long term, that's more like a movie. I have my favorite films that I can watch once a month the whole year. So I like the idea of creating more things like this that has more meaning to it, that people go back and rewatch over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's great, like long-term work for the channel, and it's you
definitely
can be proud of those sorts of things as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Right, 5-car garage, unlimited value.
Manual GT3.
Manual GT3.
911.2. Guess a Carrera GT.
Oh, yeah.
RS6 definitely in there. That would be the daily.
Yeah, sweet. That's 3.
2 more. Well, I would like to say an F40, but then again, I've never driven one. I'm only going on
what people say.
Yeah, and the legendary status of it.
It's pretty good.
I need an Italian car in there, 100%. Yeah, let's go with an F40, even though I've never driven one.
Cool. And one more. Would you have like a classic? That is a classic, but you maybe older. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or a track car or a race car. I guess your GT3 could be a track car.
Yeah, and you can do both for that. I like the idea of a classic. If it did, probably would be a Porsche. I think there's room for another Porsche in the garage. But which one? That is a tough one. Or, okay. So, there's part of me that wants to say, like, okay, take a Bugatti Chiron or something. And, that is cool. And I was in one for the first time like 3 weeks ago. But I still don't know if it would be in my dream garage.
Yeah.
It's an amazing car. There's no question. And the fastest thing I've ever experienced in my life. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe then something like a Zonda. Just something that's just totally different. Manual V12 Zonda. Yeah. Again, Italian car. I love Italian brands. I've got the German cars, Italian cars. Yeah. I think off the top of my head, like Rushed.
Sounds like that would be a good garage. I think.
Yeah, there would be a laugh.
You could roll with that.
I could roll with that forever, no problem.
Okay, if you could only drive one car for the rest of your life, and you've got like a €500 banger on the side, so you've got one car plus a cheap.
So unlimited funds.
Unlimited funds.
Yeah, because normally actually that's when people would say the RS6.
Yeah. That would fit into that mold, but
yeah, totally. But unlimited funds, then it changes things. Then I would say possibly, because it's one of those things. Again, you could say, then I take a Bugatti Chiron. But I know there would come a time where I would just be longing for a true sports car.
Yeah.
So I think even though it's unlimited funds, I would say a GT3, because I know for a fact you can use that for normal daily
Stuff.
business. Of course, it's not the best, but you can. And it gives you so much reward to drive it properly on a road, but it is kind of usable. So yeah, I think it would have to be a manual gearbox. If it's one car forever, then probably it would actually just be my dream car, which is a 911.2 GT3 and a manual. I would, even say the newer GT3, but I'm thinking more pre-OPF filter.
Yeah.
Because I want the full sound. I want the full emotion. Yeah. If I had to say one now quickly, then yeah, why not that?
And it would be great.
Yeah.
Right. Most undervalued car at the moment.
Something I've definitely not even thought about.
It's tricky.
It's a really tricky one. Undervalued car. I think the problem is I'm only driving such high performance cars at the moment.
Yeah.
There for sure is some cheaper cars, be it, I don't know, a Ford Fiesta or some more normal cars like this that I think would be in that area. But I've just not driven them. I'm only driving ridiculous cars at the moment.
Fair enough.
Really, yeah, it's really.
I get
hard.
all sorts of answers to that question, and I think personally, I have a few answers, but I always look at things like GT3 and I go, well, I in Switzerland they are more expensive than they are here. They're quite a bit more expensive than they are here.
But they are. So I don't see it's not undervalued at all, because for me here they are really expensive.
Yeah. But I think I think they could be the same price. Like as in a GT3 here could be the same price as it is in Switzerland, which I think is probably another 20k plus maybe.
Yeah, I would say about 20k difference.
Which I think I genuinely feel is like a fair. I love that they're priced how they are, but I think if you priced them at 20k plus 20k, I think you'd still sell them all, but there would be less buyers, which might mean that more of the sort of people that go, well, I know I can instantly flip it. Like if you can instantly flip something every time it comes out for plus 20, 30k for a year, maybe they should just change the price. I don't know. Like it's great for the
what
people
I've
that get
seen
it.
here is it's contacts. So I've been shown crazy garages here that obviously I couldn't show on social media, and from people that have had brand new Porsches, GT2s, GT3s in the most crazy specs you've ever seen, that they're buying just through contacts. They're not even advertising it online, because if Porsche find out that they're flipping these, they'll be in trouble, or they won't get any more. So there's a big scene of that here where maybe you're right, where it's they should be a bit more expensive. It would be nice if they were less easy to flip and people couldn't sell them over the price tag as easy as they are doing. I mean,
They just need to make more.
Yeah, exactly. So if there was more, then it's the demand here is big for them. So with a new GT3, like any new Porsche GT car, people will be paying at one point way over price.
Yeah.
For it, just that they can get one now. But if you wait half a year, then you'll get one easy actually for. I mean, probably with the GT2, I know people that paid 100k over price for one. Yeah, of course, they lost 100k in a year. They went from they were paying $500,000 for a GT2 RS, and then a year later you can put them online for 400k. I think Porsche are not keen on it, right? They're not. They obviously don't like the idea of people just endlessly making money off
them,
their new cars. Yeah,
it is mad, but it's good. It's good for the people that can get the cars, and I don't begrudge anyone that can get a car. And if you get a slot and someone's, let's say you get a GT2 RS or whatever, and someone's like, I'll give you $100,000 over what you paid. You're like, yeah, cool, thanks, see ya.
Yeah,
and so what? Money's money.
Totally. From that side, that's fine. But obviously, there's the people that are doing it purely only on that factor. Yeah. I have friends that also, when the GT2 came out, bought them, and they said a week later they had offers with like 70k more
Yeah.
Of course it's tempting. I mean, it's a lot of money, even
It
to a wealthy person. It's like, it's a lot. So I totally get why you would sell then, but they all come down in price eventually. The GT4 was terrible, that crushed in price badly.
Well, they made a lot. They made a lot of 718s and 91s.
They did. Yeah. And then I think after the first half year, people figured out actually it's not as exciting as you thought it was because of the OPF filter. I mean, that car was castrated. It was so quiet. I couldn't believe it. It has cylinder cut off. So when I'm driving on the motorway, it's constantly like, you feel it, right? The cylinders are constantly cutting off, and it's horrible. You don't want that in a sports car, in a GT car. And then they just crashed in price. Now in Switzerland, they're the same, more or less the same price as the old one.
Yeah. I think it's similar-ish here. Like you can get a GT4 if you want one.
Easy, yeah.
Like no, I don't think massive issue. And I was in a situation where I had a GT3 RS and I got a GT4. I got a 981 GT4, late-ish in their build production. And I drove the cars, and I did think I was going to I'm going to really enjoy this car. And then the gearing, and I know people are like, stop banging about the gearing.
I know, but it drives you crazy.
The gearing and the engine, once you've driven a GT3 RS,
exactly that.
Like you can't get in a GT4. You just go, like it's still a great car, but it just doesn't have the 100%. Engine. And you're like, no, damn.
It doesn't. That's the problem. And me driving the GT3 did ruin the GT4 for me.
It does. So if you have a GT4 and you don't want to be wanting to buy a GT3, do not get in a GT3.
Really don't.
Like, don't.
Yeah, because you're like, this is a GT car. Okay, yeah. But because afterwards, the GT4 just feels flat. I mean, handling-wise, it's incredible. Like, on a twisty road, amazing. But if you've been a bit spoiled with cars, as I have, from brands, you quickly realize, like, that's why it didn't excite me like I thought it was going to. I love the looks on the 718 GT4. I think it looks brilliant.
It's really cool.
I love how it looks, and that was a big factor of me wanting one. Was just on the looks, but the engine left a bit to desire, and especially after jumping from that into my friend's GT3, I was like, okay, I can't keep this.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame, but cool cars. Just the GT cars, and you get people that are fanatical about the GT cars versus the normal cars. But they are so different, but they're only so different really from the engine. Yeah, okay, the corner a bit flatter and a bit more, all of that sort of stuff. But it's just the engine, like. Yeah.
And if anyone's thinking about buying one, I can highly suggest to get the 981 GT4 over the new one. I drove a 981 the other month, and after living with the new one for 8 months, I realized then actually, yes, it looks better than the newer one. Yes, it's 50% more aerodynamic and is a bit easier to live with. There's a few more luxuries, but the older one, I mean, just for the sound alone, feels so much more raw. And it's cheaper. I'm like, it's win-win. I would get a 981 if I ever got a GT4 again. I would get a 981 over the new one. Yeah, definitely.
I've heard that from a few people. Right, final question. Most interesting car to you at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm non-stop looking at the new GT3.
Fair.
Constantly dream specking my one.
How do you how do you feel about the black bit on the front? The like plasticky, it's probably not plastic, on the front bumper?
I don't mind it. I'm not judging it until I see one in person, because when you see one in real, it can be so different. Yeah. I love the light bar at the back. A huge fan of light bars, but because I've not seen one in person yet, it's hard to say. It can be so different when you see it in real life.
It is, and it all depends on like what angle. Like what length lens the bloody person taking the pictures from.
Yeah, exactly.
Launch photos and stuff. I don't know who took those photos. I think they were all right. The Porsche ones are all right, but like often you see them.
It's just commercial, right? They're just corporate.
Yeah, corporate, a person that's probably never taken a picture of a car before.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. And so often heavily photoshopped.
Yeah.
Or not even moving most of the time, and it's all fake blurs and speed, and you know.
My favorite one is when I think it was maybe a Boxster, something like that. Maybe a 718 Boxster. They had them on like a curving road with a big background or whatever, and there was one facing forwards and one facing backwards, and they were both moving, and both of the wheels were spinning. And you're like, well, that means one of the cars is driving backwards.
Yeah. I know. With these things that we notice,
no one else notices.
Yeah. I get a lot of comments actually on my pictures the saying, why don't more brands let me do their launch pictures? I'm like, yeah, great. I'm so in for that. Because I think, why can you not do more real pictures to launch the car? Why does it have to be this over photoshopped corporate style? It just has no real connection, because you know probably most of the what's in the photo is anyway fake.
Yeah. And I think the coolest one I've seen in a long time, it was some sort of GT4. It might have been the GT4 Club Sport. It was like a silver car with yellow stripes and stuff on it. And that was shot how, like, I would say most photographers would shoot a car. Like, it was in a location. I think it was in like a garage or it was something like that. But it was all done really cool, and the environment was part of the photo. Whereas lots, it's like it's in a white studio. And the studio is probably not big enough to shoot with like a 50 mil or longer. So it's shot at 20 mil, really close and distorted and all this sort of stuff. And they go, well, why do people not like the look of the car? It's like, well, because the photos are crap, mate.
For me, the best is, you want to show a car, take it to a mountain pass on the top at sunrise.
Yeah.
That's the dream for me. The perfect road with the perfect car on.
Yeah. And that would, like, if you... new GT3, new whatever, new Ferrari, something or other, shot in a dream location that someone wants to drive the car, can't beat that.
Yeah, because it's the imagination, right? You want to imagine, oh, I could be there. I could be there on that road with that car. You
could. It's very possible.
Yeah, and hopefully I will be at some point.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm still waiting to... My channel seems to have this thing. Every time I film a brand new Porsche, they always gets big views. So the last ones I did, they always did like 1 million views. So I'm waiting to
for that
get
video.
hold of the new one. Yeah, of a new GT3, which is not easy at the moment.
Yeah, it'll happen.
Oh yeah, sure, no question. I'm just impatient. You know.
I want it now.
I'm super excited to try it, of course. I can't wait.
Yeah, same.
So it will happen in the next months. But I really can't wait to try that car. Yeah. I'm really, really excited. And to see when they bring out an new RS model.
Yep.
And the GT4 RS.
And the GT4 RS.
Yeah.
And a GT2 RS at some point.
Yeah.
And any other 911s they plan on making.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping the GT4 RS will be then, maybe that will excite us. Maybe we'll be like, actually, now I would consider a GT4 again. I really don't know. It's a thin line, isn't it? They're never going to make it too good that it competes with the GT3 or devalues the GT3. No. So it's always going to be held back.
Because the ultimate car, a GT3 is wicked, but a GT4 works a lot better, like being mid-engined. Even just you look at the shape of the car, it's more like resolved as like an object. And you know, just put a GT, because you could put a GT3 engine in a GT4.
It could be the better car, actually.
Like that would be a build. Put like a 997 GT3 engine in a GT4.
Yeah.
Pricey, now but like would be a great.
Yeah, these are the stupid things I would do if I was
crazy wealthy.
Yeah, exactly. I would 100% do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks very much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
It's been great. It's been good to chat. And hopefully we'll meet up at some point.
Yeah, I hope so.
Maybe your part of the world is a bit more interesting photographically for me than my part of the world, but you never know.
Any road trips planned for after?
I've got nothing planned at the moment. I've got things I've said I would like to do, but I don't know whether I'm going to do it. I'd love to take my GT3 to the Nürburgring. Maybe try and combine that with seeing some manufacturers or something, you know, just do a bit of a slightly longer trip.
come to Switzerland, come over and spend a week driving the passes. I'll join you.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, let's do something. Let's do something for sure. You get a new GT3. I'll bring my GT3.
I'm working on it. If not, I'll find something. I've got a few pretty crazy cars lined up over the next months. And I've got a Carrera GT waiting for me to film in Germany. But because of the border restrictions at the moment, I can't go. But it's there waiting for me. Like they said, I can take it. As long as it's sunny and dry, I can take it. Sick. And so I'm kind of like, it's killing me at the moment.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you too.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed that podcast, please head over to iTunes and leave a rating and review. Helps push us up the charts. And also, if you especially enjoyed it, you can head over to my website, sammoors.com, and you can go to the shop and you can buy me a pint, which I would very much appreciate. And a final shout out to this week's sponsor, The Market. They've currently got some brilliant cars live at auction at the moment, so be sure to head over to themarket.co.uk and go check them out. See you in the next episode.